So today's workshop, I've called it Comfort Has a Cost. So we're coming into 2026, well, we're in 2026, but we've got the full calendar year in front of us. And I've built this workshop as like a little tool belt of different activities that we can actually do when we take it back to our goal setting sessions back in our own business. And these are tools that we can rinse and repeat with. Before we do that, I've had a very long day today. Like I kicked off at 3 o'clock this morning, drove my wife down to the airport to go back to New Zealand. We picked up our new baby. We brought our new baby home Thursday last week. So my 18-year-old's babysitting the new baby right now. And I just have to show you my new baby. Isn't she cute? Seriously? That's Padme. So she's 2 kilos. She's a little, they call it a toy bulldog. It's a cross between a French bulldog and a Boston Terrier, but she's absolutely gorgeous. And my 18-year-old's babysitting right now, babysitting her. All right, so we've got a workbook. I hope everyone's got one. There should be. There's more than enough workbooks to go around. We are going to do some activities within this workbook. I am going to be asking people to really take the time over the next half hour or so to think about some of these questions and these activities that we're going through. And we're going to do a little bit of sharing around the tables and that sort of thing as we progress. So if we think about goal setting, a question I like to get people to think about is, what is our approach for goal setting within our own business for 2026? So how do we approach it? So if we think about goal setting, if our approach to goal setting misses, I tend to find there's a few things that would actually drive that. So maybe the goal setting is too numbers focused, or it's too logic based. Maybe it feels like we're asking for a big change, but not a lot of focus around the benefit behind that with attitude or with approach. So I tend to walk around a lot, so I hope you don't mind. I am doing it, it's just what I do. And the third thing is, quite often it can end up feeling daunting, exhausting, or potentially a little fake. So just to recap, if our approach to goal setting misses, I tend to find it's one of these things. That it's too numbers focused or logic based. It feels like we're asking for a big change in results, but a small change in our attitude. And then it might wind up feeling a little bit daunting, exhausting, or potentially a little fake. Has anyone seen anyone like that? I have. 15 years ago, probably looking in the mirror. That was my approach to it. I've since changed. I think this is really important. So when our approach, if we think about our approach and when it actually hits, it feels honest and it feels relatable. It addresses both habits of task as well as habits of thought, and it creates clarity of mind before clarity of goals. So this is the process that I'd like to dig into. I always like to frame up when we're going to a workshop. But if we think about that second bullet point, habits of task as well as habits of thought, it takes me, I'm going to go stand on this side, if that's all right. It takes me to an exercise which my clients, they know this inside and out. So I've got a page in the workbook. Feel free to fill this in as we go through it. But if we think about this little topic at the top, so who are we going to be? Who are we going to be when we're setting our goals for 2026? Now, some of you might have seen this formula. My clients definitely have seen this formula. So there are 3 steps to this formula. The first one is do, then we've got be, and then we have. So it is what we do multiplied by who we are actually being when we're going through this process that's going to create our result, the results they have. So if we think about activities that we're doing, So the activities that we need to be doing, they're things like yellow time. And yellow time's what I class as working on the business. It's the strategic thinking, it's the critical thinking, it's doing the smart things, it's doing the activities that get us to ask the right questions at the right time. So they're the activities we should be doing. Or we can do nothing. We can do the same stuff as we did last year and get the same results as we did last year. This be and who we're being, this is the game changer, I think, in this formula. I'm not taking anything away from the activities that we know we need to be doing, but it's who are we being when we're doing that. So are we playing above the line? Are we playing as the victor? Are we being the person that's going to stand up and make those differences within our business? Or are we going to be below the line? Are we going to be the victim? Are we going to be saying, oh, there's all these excuses why nothing's going to change, or no, it's not going to happen to me again, or there's these things happening in the marketplace that are going to enable us to not change our results from the previous year. The thing I like about this is if we draw a line across here, the activities, if we focus on doing the right things, the smart things, the working on the business things, and if we be the right person, if we turn up and if we believe and we behave and we do all the things that we know hold us in that victor space, then there's going to be a reward. If we find ourselves, I don't know if this has got a pointer on it. Oh, it does. If we find ourselves playing below the line, where we're not changing the activities that we're doing, we're not doing anything different, we're just going to go on and keep doing the same thing, and then maybe we're going to have all these blame and excuses and that sort of things that goes with it, then there's going to be a consequence. And that happens. This happens all the time. I see it. Now, which one is that? So do times be equals have. We need to draw that line across there, and all of our activities that we're doing, the tasks that we're doing, the things that we're working on, and how we're approaching them needs to be aligned to get the reward. If one falters, so if we know, we need to step up and we need to be positive and we need to believe, we need to have the right behaviour, we need to know who we're being, we need to belong to the journey, belong to the plan, the structure, whatever it is. If we falter on the stuff that we're doing, we're going to get a consequence. If we're doing all the right things and we're working on the business, doing the planning, doing the strategy, but it's like, I know, I need to do that, but this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and we're going to get these excuses, it's going to be a consequence again. I think this is a really powerful thing to frame up from goal setting, because the goal setting is around doing the things that we need to do, the right things, the activities, but it's more important, I believe, as to how we're going to play the game, how we're going to turn up. Another way to look at it, so we change the way we look at things, if we change the way we look at the results we've been getting, change the way we look at the mindset that we have while we're going through and trying to achieve these opportunities. If we change the way we look at it, the things that we look at change. Make sense? All right. Okay. So who's already completed their goal setting for 2026? So we've got some who have done? All right. Personal goals as well? Yep. Awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do, I want to do a pause on this quote from Dan Sullivan. I've got nothing to do with Dan Sullivan, who's the founder of the Strategic Coach over in the US. But I like this quote, all progress starts with the truth. So we're going to go through a couple of exercises now within our workbook, and we're going to look at two different approaches. The first one, we're going to do an honest self-assessment. So this is a process I think is absolutely gold, for going through to support our goal setting activities back in our business. And then we're going to have a look at a future regrets versus a future vision. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? All right. So let's have a look at the honest assessment. So there's a page in our workbook, which is the very next page, called the honest self-assessment. I'm just going to put this clicker down. So what I want to do is we're going to have a look at each one of these questions. So often when it comes to setting goals, we go immediately to the numbers that are the better numbers than last time we set them. I want to have a think about the following questions. It's basically like holding up a mirror to the way we consider our capabilities when it comes to what you do. So if we look at this box here, the top left-hand box. So I've called it skills honesty. So if we think about ourselves today, and this is a really interesting question I want you to think about, what am I pretending not to know? So if we think about that, what am I pretending not to know? So when do I hear myself saying, I'm not that good at it, or I don't really like that, so that's why I get this result? You know, you could potentially find out a way to do it. So I want you to think about that one question and try and capture in here what would be at least one thing that we're pretending not to know. Does that make sense? All right. So just grab a couple of minutes to do that. And I'm just going to look for pens dropping. So if we think about the top right-hand box, and we're talking about the tasks. So if we're looking at ourselves in the mirror and we're thinking about task honesty, what am I holding back on? So what am I purposely avoiding or being half-hearted about that I know is affecting my attitude or my results? And try and capture a response to that question. And then we'll move on to the third question. So the question down the bottom left-hand corner, honest responsibility. So what am I secretly not willing to be responsible for that I find it easy to hide because no one will notice? So what am I secretly not willing to be responsible for that I find it easy to hide because no one's going to notice? Just try and capture one thing. Or a whole list of things if it just rolls off. Yeah. And then I'm going to move on to the last question, and then I'll let you guys dig into this a little bit deeper. So the honest confidence. So where is a perceived lack of confidence letting me down at the moment? So I want you to grab a couple of minutes and try and put an answer down against each of these questions. And then ultimately, what I'd really like you to do, and it serves two things. Firstly, what we're capturing here, if we share that with our table, it gets it out there. And when we hear it coming from our language, from our words, from our voice, it puts it out there. But it also enables other people at the table to get insights. Maybe think, oh, didn't think of that, or take learnings from it, take sharing away from it. So I want you to complete these 4 questions, and then I want you to do a share at the table. Even if it's just the number one question and response, and do a share at the table. So go for it. So we're going to have to make a move and move on to the next part of this workshop. But the first thing, I would like to ask everyone a question. All right. We got to move on. So who heard something at the table that they thought was really cool? Who heard something at the table that they thought that was really cool and they were able to share it? All right. We'll do one or two quick shares.
We talked about being organised, more organised, and we found that to be more organised, we tried to, how do we set up a perfect day, and then we looked at maybe it starts the night before and getting a good night's sleep.
Excellent. Anyone else? One? Yep.
We talked about the things that we don't do well. We're wasting so much time doing them, and there are simple solutions like having a bookkeeper or even just using the ATO to take our receipts so that we can get on and do what we do well. Perfect.
All right. So, because I do need to be wrapped up by 1:15, so I'm going to have to keep this moving along a little bit. So I want to go through an exercise now where we're going to do a little bit of time travel. Anyone know what the TARDIS is? Am I there? All right. Okay. That's not bad for AI, hey? Not bad. So we're going to do an exercise, and I love this exercise. So it's called Future Regrets versus Future Vision. So we're going to do it one page at a time. Same process. 4 questions. Now, if I go through this worksheet, and I really want you to think about this, it is critical to immerse yourself in this. I'm not going to ask you to close your eyes and visualise that we're sitting here in December 2026, but we are going to answer these questions based on being in December 2026, the end of this year. And the key component is we're disappointed. So we're disappointed with what's around us, with the results. We're disappointed with something that maybe we haven't achieved everything that we wanted to achieve from our goal setting point of view. But if we look at these 4 quadrants, we've got habits, comfort, fear, and ego. So we're disappointed again. We're at the end of this year and we're looking at what's going on around us and it's like, damn it, it happened again. We've got the same result, nothing changed. So I want you to think about the first question. So what habits, while we're there at the end of this year, are still with me that I didn't manage to break? Then I want to think about the next question. From another page, I can get you a couple of workbooks, there's some spare ones around. So from a comfort point of view, again, we're at the end of the year and we are a little bit disappointed because nothing's changed. Where did I choose comfort over growth? From a fear point of view, what did I play too small on that I know was fear-based? And from an ego point of view, what was I afraid would hurt my ego that I ended up avoiding? So I want you to work through those 4 questions. Try and capture your responses, and then I want you to share it again with the table, and I want you to share each of them. So just one from each of these headings: habits, comfort, ego, fear. Share it with the table. No, but for the share, just share one of them. All right, so go for it. All right, so again, so this is our future regrets. So who heard something that resonated from the table? Who heard something about our habits, something about our ego, our comfort, or our fear that resonated and they're prepared to share? Anyway, something cool? A habit? So we got one over here?
This is one from the table.
Yeah. You don't need to say who it is.
Sure. From the anonymous person at the table. It was around not putting yourself out there, but actually robbing the gift of your unique skill set from those people by being stingy and fearful and not putting yourself out there in the marketplace with communication.
How's that? That's awesome. That is a really cool share. So who else? Anyone else hear something? You get one more?
Small is the new big.
Small is the new big.
Small is the new big.
Love it. So does that sit into ego? Does that sit into comfort?
I basically voiced that maybe I'm one of the things that I'm afraid would hurt my ego. One thing that I was afraid would hurt my ego is that like delegating tasks to my team, and maybe I need to hire a manager. And a gentleman at the table brought up, no, that's actually, that could be a bad idea. Sometimes staying small and keeping lean is better than going too big, rather than handing a manager thousands of dollars to hold everyone else to task.
Absolutely. Big is good, small's beautiful. A lot of the time. All right. So, because there's a couple more exercises I want to do. So now we're going to bring it back, and I know Rose is going to pick me up on this because I put January 2026, and when I wrote this it was January, but now it's February, so I've got a critique who criticises all my workbooks. So, Rose. All right. So we've had a look at that future where we were disappointed across these 4 quadrants, looking back. So now we're here today, February 2026, and I want to reverse these questions. So habits. What habits am I going to break this year, thankfully? Comfort. Where am I going to be bold over being comfortable? Fear. What am I going to step up to and break a fear that I've been harbouring? And from an ego point of view, what am I going to do despite the risk that my ego could get hurt? So again, let's jump into this. So look at your responses from the previous page, because we've got that. We've identified that's what we've seen looking back on the year. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do to change that so that it's not December 2026 looking back with that disappointment? So just grab a couple of minutes. So now we're going to move on to the next part and land this workshop. So we've had a look at a couple of different concepts around our reflection in the mirror, looking at ourselves in the mirror. We've dug into our future regrets. We've got some clarity as to what we're going to do to stop that from happening. So now what? Who came to this planning session last year? Is there anyone in the room who did it? Okay. Did you guys get your letters? All right. Did the letters make you smile? Excellent. So, what I want to do, now that we've looked at the end of 2026, we've got the exercise that we've just been through, we're mapping out what we need to do to stop those potential future regrets from happening. I want to now write a letter to ourselves from the future. So we've already been there, we know what it looks like. I want to write a letter to ourselves, and there's a piece of paper that's been handed out to everyone. There's an envelope, and I want everyone to write a letter to themselves from the future, put your address on it, and I'm going to collect them, and I will mail them to each of you at the end of December. Last December just gone, we mailed out 85 letters, and it was extraordinary to see that take up. So when it comes to the letter from ourselves, there's 4 steps, and this really, really is critical or it doesn't work. We've got to fast forward, we've got to jump in that TARDIS again, and it's the end of this year. And we are going to write a letter to ourselves. We're going to describe the moment that you decided to go for it. we're writing back to our current person today. What was the moment that you decided to go for it? How can you encourage your current self to be persistent? Because it is going to work. This is what we've achieved because you're writing the letter back from the future. And I want you to try and detail your business, what it looks like at the end of this year, with as much detail as possible. So we've got a blank piece of paper, you've got an envelope. I really want you to try and write a letter. Just use these 4 steps, these 4 bits of instruction. And then when you get this letter in the future, because I guarantee you will get it unless someone gives me a dodgy address. If you haven't achieved it, I've dropped a little QR code in here just for a 20-minute chat, and we'll talk about why in the future. All right, so we are tight on time, so I'm going to give this activity probably 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. But if you need more time, just keep writing while we're wrapping things up, because I really want to be able to collect these envelopes. And I said it last year, it does not go into any CRM. It does not go into any mailing list, all these new addresses that I suddenly pick up. You will not receive anything from me unless you contact me some other way. Think big. Be bold. Stuff your ego. Take those risks. Do I want to read it? No. No. And please seal up the envelope when you've done it too, because I'm not going to read them. Thank you. Looks like there are some letters being sealed up, which is good. I'm going to keep us moving. So, quick question. How'd you feel about that exercise? It's pretty cool, hey? I tell you, it is even cooler when you get the letter in the mail. It is really... I did it myself. I wrote my letter same time last year, mailed it to myself, and I thought, interesting. Okay. Last couple of steps. So, we got this workbook. We got some really cool probing questions that have been answered in this workbook. We've got this path that we've now navigated, how we're not going to have that disappointment at the end of 2026. I like to do a sniff test. So, smell it. It smells awesome. Hopefully, it smells like roses. There's opportunity in that. If we've done this wrong, it's going to smell like a dog fart. So I'm hoping that it smells like roses. That's the sniff test. So I really hope that you found this session helpful. There's a couple of things. What I want to think about is, well, how do we keep momentum? Or maybe how do we create momentum? If you're feeling a little bit stuck, there's a QR code on the back of the workbook. The top one, it's just a 20-minute clarity call. It's like, okay, well, I've got all this stuff going on. What do I do with it? And it's absolutely 100% not a sales call. Scan that QR code, book into my calendar. We'll quickly pull it apart so that you can get on and create momentum throughout 2026. So that's on the back of the workbook. Now, I do have a surprise. For those people who know me, I'm an absolute geek when it comes to making sure we know the foundations or the footings of our business, which is our numbers. As you can see, I'm really, really good at it. See, 1 + 1 is 3, is that right? Just wanted to pull some attention to that. So one person tonight with the business card bowl that was going around is going to get access to a financial training program that I built for business owners. And doesn't that sound exciting? Trust me, it is. It's 8 modules, 8 video modules that were in 10 to 15 minutes each. No workbooks, there's no contacting me. I'll just give you access to it. It's valued at $1,000. That exercise, if you go through and put it into your business, it will put on average around a 10% contribution to your bottom line. So we dig into overheads, we dig into cost of goods, we dig into how do we promote more effectively without having to give away discounts. Goes into a little exercise at the end, which is, I call it like a crystal ball for Facebook marketing. And it's how do we calculate that we're actually going to get a return on investment. So that's going to happen later on today, later on tonight. So I just want to make sure everyone gets their business card put in the box. This is an example of the website, and I'll put this QR code here in case people wanted to quickly have a look at it now so they can see what they're going to win if you get a chance to. But yeah, so that's going to go off tonight. And seriously, and you get lifetime access to it. It's a great, great prize. So 2026, it's in front of us. We're 1 month into it, 11 months to go. I do want to finish on this quote. Fear is momentary, regret is forever. So let's change how we look at 2026. And I guarantee you, 2026, the results are going to change. And that's my son. He actually had that quote when he was 14 years old. So that's Angus. He's now 18. So thanks.